The first Giants Live of the season, Britain's Strongest Man, takes place in Sheffield this weekend. So we are heading up to Sheffield this weekend for Britain's Strongest Man. Obviously, as British athletes, we all follow Britain's Strongest Man closely. I know a lot of people around the world follow this one, especially to see who is going to be looking good at competitions later in the year. Now, last year, we had the World's Strongest Man was the winner of this show, which obviously generates that interest. This year, no Tom Stoltman. The three-time champion is deciding to focus solely on the Arnolds right now. I think that's a good move for him, but it is a shame when you don't have that technically number one guy competing in the national title. However, it gives an opportunity for a different athlete to shine. We do have a previous winner here in Adam Bishop competing. Unfortunately, Graham Hicks pulled out a few weeks ago. So let's quickly go through the lineup. We'll go through the events and then we'll talk about who we think can place high, who's going to be on the podium, who to look out for in the future.
So first up, you've just mentioned him, but we have the two-time champion Adam Bishop returning, coming back from injury from last year's World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how Adam does. Couple of points with Adam. Obviously, the first factor is he's coming back from a torn Achilles where he had ruptured that World's Strongest Man. He looked really good at Worlds.
He looked great.
Yeah. And Adam is very good when he's had a long prep for a competition. He's not the best guy back-to-back competitions, but when he's able to prepare properly for a show, he normally comes in very good shape. Yeah. So he's done very well at Britain's Strongest Man before, on the podium a number of times, obviously a two-time champion. If he is in shape, if he is fully recovered, he is a genuine contender. Next man for me is the favourite for this competition, Luke Richardson. We saw him compete at England's Strongest Man last year where he placed fourth and actually skipped event. And then that was coming back from injury as well. Then after that, we saw him take 2 podium positions in the Giants Live. He's looking in phenomenal shape. I can't see any big weakness for him in this competition. We'll talk more about the events in a bit, but for me, he's going to come in as the favourite.
Next, representing Wales, he came second at this competition last year, is Gav Bilton.
Yeah, and Gav, we haven't seen him compete for a while. I think that break was needed for Gav. Again, when Gav is in shape, very, very dangerous. As you said, second place at last year's Britain's Strongest Man.
He was great last year.
He was fantastic. We saw a number of competitions where he was doing really well, and then he had a bit of bad luck with injuries, some personal issues, and then
it just dropped off a
kept trying to compete when maybe he should have taken that break. He's had that break, he's been back into training, and again, when he's had a good prep, normally comes in shape. So I hope we see Gav in top form. Luke Stoltman is coming back to Britain's Strongest Man. Now, Luke had a good end to last year. He actually had a decent year. Not many people spoke about him, but he made the final of Worlds. He was top 5 in some of the major shows.
He won Europe's
Strongest Man as well, yeah. Although he's won Europe's twice, he's not managed to win Britain's Strongest Man yet, and you know he wants to add that to the resume. He has some good events. The deadlift tends to be the one event where he costs points a little bit, but I know he's been working hard on it. Be interesting to see what shape Luke is in.
And most interestingly, we have no idea what shape he's in competitively, do we?
No, we've not seen any of the training that we normally see leading up to competitions. I presume he's been away working hard.
Yeah, I'd have thought so, yeah.
And, he is he's the most experienced athlete, I think, in this. It's maybe him and Bish. Equally so. Yeah. But yeah, he's always a contender and he does very well at Britain's.
So next up, returning to Giants Live from Scotland is Andy Black. Now, Andy hasn't done a Giants Live show since 2023 Britain's Strongest Man. He's actually a fairly late call-up. Kane Francis had to withdraw with injury, unfortunately. And Andy came second at the Scottish qualifier. So he is now in the lineup.
Yeah, Andy had a bit of a gap where he really dropped off the radar a little bit. Much better return to strongman at Scotland's Strongest Man last year where he placed second. As you said, that's what's got him into this competition in the late call-up. I know Andy wants to prove himself again as well. He's had that little break. He needs to prove he's been working hard, improving on weaknesses. It's a tough show to come into. But again, we don't really know what shape he's in. No. Andy has certain events he's very, very good at. We've seen the weaknesses in the past. Has he ironed those out? That's going to be the big question. So a new man to a lot of guys watching will be Ben Glasscock. Now, Ben had a great year in 2024, ended up coming second at OSG Europe's. He's had some other competition results since then. Up and down results, but the improvement that this young man has made in the last sort of 12 to 24 months has been huge. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in this opportunity.
Next up, another man who I think is a serious contender for the podium, if not the win, is Shane Flowers. Now, Shane missed out on quite a lot last year due to injury. We saw him at the Magnus Ver Magnusson Classic. I feel like it was a slightly nervy performance from Shane, but I think it's given him a lot of confidence that he is strong, he is good enough, his body will hold together, most importantly. So excited to see, after a good prep, what he can bring to Britons.
Absolutely. We saw him in Iceland and he did very well. You could see the nerves were there. He needed that competition out the way, I think, before really challenging for a title like this. And Shane, he's been climbing the ranks for the last few years now, certainly one of the best that the UK has. Now, this next man, Andy Flynn, he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was second at England's Strongest Man last year, but his performance at the Royal Albert Hall, the Strongman Classic, really shocked me. I thought, you got no pressure, and it is true when you you go to the underdog, there is no pressure, but he really performed supremely well. He's a great all-round athlete, someone that continues to improve every single year. Is he ready to challenge for a podium at Britain's Strongest Man? We'll find out.
So next we have Paddy Haynes, who qualified by coming third at England's Strongest Man last year. Now, Paddy did his first Britain's last year, and it was a little bit of a stinker by his standards. He actually did much better when he did the World Open in Birmingham several months later.
And it's tough. Like last year, a lot of people were talking about Paddy, myself included. He is a very good athlete.
Yeah.
But sometimes that pressure gets to you, and you just need that experience. We've seen it with Tom Stoltman before. Yeah. Tom Stoltman has come last at Britain's Strongest Man. Mm-hmm. Now he's one of the absolute best in the world. Paddy has so much talent. His pressing is his weakness. And I think that he will admit himself, but he's got 4 out of 5 events he's exceptionally good at, and he says his pressing is getting better. He's hoping to kind of pick up a few points. I don't think he expects to challenge, the likes of Luke Stoltman on a pressing event, but if he can pick up points on the pressing and really fire hard on the events he's good at, he can certainly be in the mix as well.
So next is Chris Beetham, who last year won Scotland's Strongest Man. Now, we saw Chris at the World Tour Finals, which I think is almost a cruel first international to throw someone into because it's so tough. But he did have a little opportunity to shine there. He did very, very well on the Hercules hold. This is a different level and standard of competition, so I'm excited to see what he can do up against these guys.
Also, he's got prep for this one.
Exactly,
This is the show he knew he was qualifying for, whereas the World Tour Final he was thrown in last minute. And that is tough to take for your first major Giants life. Yeah. However, Chris has been training really hard, and the Britain's Strongest Man is the focus of that training. Yeah. So looking forward to seeing how Chris can do. Representing Scotland, he is the current Scotland's Strongest Man. And talking of national champions, we have another man returning to Britain's Strongest Man, Sean Gillen. He has won Ireland's Strongest Man 2 years in a row. It's always close in Ireland, but he is the man.
It's always tied on points, it seems, and he wins on the stones.
He does. He's a great athlete, very good at certain events. Some weaknesses there as well, but very, very strong. Looking forward to seeing if he's improved from last year's performance.
And finally, we have last year's winner of Wales' Strongest Man, Matt Diamond. One of yours, Lasse.
He is one of mine, making good, consistent progress, Matt is. He's been training really, really hard for this one. The focus for Matt is his own performance. Again, a bit like Chris and maybe Paddy last year, your first big major show, there is a lot of pressure. Yeah. But I'm trying to reassure him to focus on his own performances. Don't get carried away with what other people are doing, and just kind of have the blinkers on and go there and smash PBs. His goal is to come somewhere like mid-table. He doesn't expect to be on the podium, but good opportunity to prove that Wales is producing strong athletes as well as Gav Bilton. So 12-man lineup, couple of big names missing. Obviously, Kane Francis, unfortunately injured. Graham Hicks pulling out a few weeks back. No Tom Stoltman, but some good new faces and some familiar faces as well. Let's quickly go through the events, starting off with the sandbag steeplechase, 4 implements that need to be carried. It's back.
Was it year before last? I felt like I was saying sandbag steeplechase every damn week. I do like this event though.
It's
I like
a good event, and I'll tell you what, there's some fast athletes in this lineup.
Luke Richardson, when he did this, was it England's Strongest Man 2 years ago? He absolutely blitzed it, didn't he?
Yes, very much so, but there's other fast athletes there as well. Adam Bishop has always been good at loading events. Shane Flowers, always really good. But Andy Flynn and Paddy Haynes both should be really kept an eye on this event. Both athletic, both very, very fast.
Luke Stoltman's fast as well.
Luke Stoltman has days where he's unbelievably fast, sometimes comes in a bit slower. Yeah. And I think it depends what type of comp it is. with Britain's Strongest Man having that combination of strength and speed, I think he'll be coming in fitter. Next, we move to the deadlift ladder. Now, originally, I heard this was going up to 400 kilos. I have heard since they are dropping the last weight down to 380, which I think is probably the right call.
For a national competition, yeah.
Yeah, especially, you know, looking, I mean, there's some big deadlifters, don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah.
But to finish a ladder on 400 is extremely difficult.
Was it last year, Adam Bishop, on the deadlift ladder at Britain's Strongest Man? Was it last year or the year before? I've never been so impressed in my life. Of someone putting straps on.
His speed.
So quickly. And every pull.
And this is an interesting element with a deadlift ladder as opposed to a deadlift for reps or a deadlift for max. It's not just how much can you lift or how many reps can you do, it's how quickly can you get through the whole implements. And I mean, Adam's great regardless. He's such a strong deadlifter, it doesn't matter what type of deadlift it is.
No,
but his speed in methodically putting on, taking off the straps and transitioning between the bars was absolutely incredible, as you say.
It was like a work of art, wasn't it? You see a lot of fannying about and time wasting.
Because you'll see different tactics. You'll see some people will go with the straps straight away. Some people will go reverse grip and try and kind of get through as many bars as they can. The only problem with that is you then, when you have to go to the straps, you change your technique, which can slow you down because mechanically your body gets used to the movement that you're doing. Whereas Adam just stuck with the straps from the very first rep. And I think he was against Graham Hicks. And I think Graham was ahead for a little while, but it's when it came to the heavier bars, he was so efficient at getting on and off. And he was unbelievable. But Adam is always a great deadlifter. Probably, as long as he is in shape, the favourite on this event.
Yeah, I think a lot of, the whole competition boils down to what sort of shape is Adam Bishop in after that Achilles tear. I'd expect Luke Richardson to do really well on this event. Gav Bilton was very good on this last year.
Gav should certainly be a man to watch when it comes to a deadlift ladder.
Paddy Haynes should do well. Andy Black's a great deadlifter. Has he got the speed? Shane Flowers is very good also. Luke Stoltman, this is one of his better deadlifts. Yeah,
he's done better results on a deadlift ladder than, say, a max or something like that. So I'm sure he's happy to see it as this rather than a max or a heavy deadlift for reps. Event number 3 is the medley. It's a duck walk into farmer's walk. Now, most of you that know me know I hate a duck walk, but I don't mind standing there watching other guys have to do it.
I don't mind watching it, just telling you.
I hate doing it.
Yeah, sorry, Darren, but it's stupid. It
is like the annoying implement before you get to the farmers. It's you know, it's part of Strongman. You need to be good at everything. Whatever events are thrown at you, you have to prepare well. Again, looking at guys like Adam Bishop, I think Luke Richardson, Paddy Haynes, Andy Black could be good at something like this. He's got taller athlete, longer legs, can make that duck walk a little bit easier.
I want to see Andy as a duck.
But there's no one that There's no one I watch in this lineup that I think, yes, they're amazing at that.
No one's.
It's not like someone guarantees the win on this. I think there's a lot of guys that could push each other and be pretty close.
We don't see duck walk that often, though, to be fair. Thank God.
But the duck walk just being one way as well. I see it as just like, it's not that hard. Even as much as I hated duck walk, I'd get through it, no problem. And then it's speed on the farmers. I mean, no mistakes really is the important thing with this. Have they prepared well? Have they practiced kind of the transition from one implement to the other? You can't mess around with 20-metre courses.
No.
You need to get it done exceptionally quickly. A small mistake can cost you. So this is a hard one to predict. I think guys like Luke Richardson will do very well. I think Bish will do well. All the big names. But don't be surprised to see some new faces like Ben Glasscock.
Paddy Haynes is great at duck walk.
Paddy is. He's got skinny legs.
He's got skinny legs. But also he's got great grip. So this should overall be a good event for him.
Paddy is great at farmers, great at moving type events. Yes, again, they all are. There's no one, like I said, that stands out so much like certain athletes when you kind of guarantee that event.
No one stands out as being bad at it either. So it could be really close.
Event number 4 will be the log lift for reps. I believe it's 160 kilos for reps. Standard log lift rules, and for me, you're going to be looking at Luke Richardson and Luke Stoltman as the top 2 on this one. Both of them very, very good when it comes to log for reps. Good endurance, great pressing power. There are other solid log lifters, but for me, those 2 stand out particularly for reps.
Sean Gillen also.
Sean Gillen, I think, would be better for max. As opposed to, there's nothing against Sean. I think he will do well, absolutely. I just can't see him beating the likes of Luke, the 2 Lukes on this event. And finally, we are finishing with the Atlas Stones. I believe it's the heavy set finishing on 200 kilos. Lots of great stone lifters in this lineup. It will come down to positioning, who wants it the most. Don't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could run through names, but most of these guys are great stone lifters, and I do expect to see that 200 kilo stone going up multiple times. It's going to come down to positioning, and it's going to be a nail-biting finish.
Who have you got then? What are we thinking?
Reasoning. Let's go for reasoning first. The reason I believe Luke Richardson is going to take the win at this competition, I cannot see him having a bad result.
No.
There is, barring injuries, which, you know, we never want to see anything like that. He's great at moving events. He's great at loading events. He's a great deadlifter. He's a great log lifter. He's very good at stones.
Yeah.
There is not a single event in this contest that I expect Luke Richardson to place lower than third on.
No, it's true. Yeah.
And I think he could potentially win a lot of these events as well. I think Adam Bishop is the question mark.
Yeah.
Adam is a fantastic strongman. He's very good at most of these type of events. I think notoriously pressing is his weakness, but it's good enough to get points still. It comes down to how well has that Achilles recovered. There are a number of moving events in this competition which could hamper his speed a little bit. I think the deadlift he will be absolutely fine with. I think log lifting, he's looked solid. I don't expect him to beat the two Lukes on log lifting, but I think he can get some reps out the bag. The question for me will be the steeplechase, the medley, and the Atlas stones. Now, he's good at all of those events, but they all heavily involve that ankle extension, which is 7-8 months since
it was
the injury.
May last year. Yeah.
We have seen incredible recoveries from the likes of Trey Mitchell, but this is the first outing for Adam. I don't want to be a guy putting too much pressure on him, but Adam is a former champion, and if he's competing, it means he believes he's capable of winning. He's not someone that's just going to turn up for, a mid-table position.
Not when he's won the competition twice before.
So I do hope we see Adam in top shape. I just don't feel he's going to be quite ready to beat someone like Luke Richardson.
Yeah.
And if I'm totally honest, I think I think the other two guys to really look at, actually three guys to look out for.
Let me guess them. Luke, Stockman, Shane, Paddy, Gav.
Yes.
Do you know what though? I don't think they're great events for Gav.
I think the events are much better for Paddy than for Gav.
I think so too. With the two moving events,
I agree.
The lack of something like a throw, or those really good events for Gav.
I think for Paddy, he has 4 exceptional events. Now the thing for Paddy is we bigged him up last year. The pressure got to him a little bit. I think the year he's
telling him to do shit.
Yeah, we're just telling him to do bad. But genuinely, he didn't perform how he could last year.
No.
And that's pressure. I think the fact that we're starting with a steeplechase and then we've got the deadlift as the next event, he's going to be able to settle into the competition as long as he doesn't make a mistake on the steeplechase, which is an event that is possible to make a mistake on.
Yeah.
He then has the deadlift, which he's very, very good at. I think he'd settle the nerves then, and then you're into the running then, and could be in a very good place going into the log lift, where he may be in a position to go later in the events.
Yeah,
that's a big advantage. You can kind of pace yourself, know what you need to do. It's making sure he has that good start, and if he has a good start, I think Paddy Haynes actually has a great chance of getting on the podium, not just top 5.
Right. Commit. Give me 3.
All right, I will go for Luke Richardson taking first place. I'm going to go for Luke Stoltman in second place, and I'm going to go for Paddy Haynes in third.
Oh.
Because I don't believe Adam will be quite recovered.
Okay.
That being said, if Adam is 100%, then I would expect to see him on the podium.
All right. I do not concur.
That's fine.
I'm going with Luke and Luke in the same order. Richardson and Stoltman. I'm going for Shane.
Nice.
Yes, I am. Then I'm going for Bish. Then I'm putting Paddy in 5th.
Could well be right. That's going to be an exciting competition.
Could be completely wrong.
I think, no, genuinely, I think you're right. I do believe Luke Richardson is the man to beat.
I think so too. When you look at last year, so if we take England's out of the equation, because that was the return competition, he didn't actually do all of the events either.
No.
At the 2 internationals that he did, he didn't lose to a Brit. He beat every single guy who he'd be up against today. So I just, he's the guy to beat in that respect, I feel.
I think so. I think
they're just really good events.
Luke Richardson is on the rise and one of the top guys in the world.
He's made it through prep. He's made it through his heavy sessions.
And he looks like he's enjoying Strongman a lot more, which is great to see.
He's a lot more laid back and relaxed, which is nice.
Indeed.
Yes, very nice.
So there you go. Both of us agreeing with Luke Richardson. We've got different results elsewhere, but it could be anyone. I mean, I think there is a lot of battles in different places that will go on.
And I expect it to be very close throughout as well. So if I didn't say your name, I had you right behind that guy.
Right, where can people get tickets? Where can they watch?
I think there are still some tickets available. That would be from the Giants Life website, which I will link below. And it's streamable on officialstrongman.com. It is this Saturday. It starts at 5 p.m. UK time. It will finish at roughly 9 p.m.
There you go. Guys, let us know who you think is going to win in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys soon. Take care.